Be honest. How many times this week have you looked up at the clock? It's almost the end of the day, and you wonder, where did all my time go? Now, you're not lazy. You're probably not even unorganized. Most likely, you just don't have the right system. And that changes today. Now, I'm Spanky Gibson with Spanky Gibson Produces. And I'm going to give you 7 strategies that are proven that will give you better time management and help you to organize your day. Now I would ask you, stick through this whole video to see all 7, especially number 4, because number 4, it's quite interesting. It'll most likely bring a smile to your face because it does mine even thinking about it. So in these 7 strategies, what's the first one? Time audit. Now, time audit is critical. You got to figure out where your time is going. So what do? From the moment you wake up till the moment you end your day, you block everything that you've done. Put them in 30-minute windows, figure out everything you did in that day for 1 week. Now, at the end of that week, you basically just go over everything that you did. You see where you're able to be successful in completing whatever task you needed to do, and also the ones that you failed to accomplish. And when you get all this done, you can sit there, itemize all the goods, itemize all the bads, and you have a baseline. Now, this baseline is going to be critical. It's going to be so important for everything that you're going to do moving forward in the rest of these 6 strategies. Now, I want to give you a pro tip. According to research published by Harvard Business Review, most professionals spend about 41% of their time on tasks that could be delegated or eliminated entirely. Now, think about that. So strategy number 2, time blocking. Similar to what you've already done in your initial audit. It's not a to-do list. It's basically you take everything that is going to be required that you know of in that day, and you give them a window of time. Now, if it's a 15-minute chore or a 30-minute task, you go ahead and set that up. But you block out that time. You say, in this time, I'm going to do this. So instead of thinking of other projects or someone else might, you have already focused and you already told yourself, I'm going to do it in this block of time. And this is critical. You set this specific time. When you look at your watch or you look up at the clock that, okay, well, it's 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, I said, I'm going to do these things for 30 minutes. You do that. Now, it's pretty easy. You put it on a calendar and it's ready to go, and you've told yourself when it gets this time, you're going to do it. So you've got to do that time blocking. Now, Cal Newport, author of the book Deep Work, he argues that this kind of scheduled, distraction-free focus is what separates average performers from elite ones. Now, tools I would recommend be like Google Calendar for free, or possibly Notion if you want something that's a little bit more visual. Now, you want to start small. Just block your top 3 priorities for tomorrow and see how different your day feels. So it leads me into strategy number 3. That's the 2-minute rule. Now, 2-minute rule is basically, if you've ever put off a task for something smaller than it, you maybe procrastinated, you're going to put yourself in a position to fail at whatever that given task was. But anything that's small, if it takes 2 minutes or less, you do it right then. You just knock it out as fast as you possibly can, and you move back on and regain your focus on the more important task. And, pretty simple. If it's could be something like a short email or short text, something of that nature. David Allen has this book called Getting Things Done, where he discusses this pretty heavily. And he keeps with that simple rule: if something takes less than 2 minutes. You just do it on the spot, because if you're trying to think of a major task and you've got this little small thing, it's going to take your focus away from the larger task. And, hey, makes sense to me. If it's something little, just knock it out of the way, move it off your desk, get it out of the way, put it in the sink, whatever it's going to be, and then move on to the harder stuff or the more important stuff. Now, these tiny tasks will pile up. They create mental clutter that drains your focus all day. Clearing them immediately keeps your brain free for all the big stuff. Now, this rule only applies to small tasks. Don't let the 2-minute rule become an excuse to avoid your big priorities. Use it to clear the noise, not to procrastinate. Now, here's the fourth strategy. This one that brings a smile on my face, and it's what I was talking about. And it's pretty funny. It's called Eat the Frog Technique. Now, Mark Twain, he once said, "It's your job to eat a frog. It's best that you do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, eat the biggest one first." So I thought that was funny, because Eat the Frog Technique, this guy Brian Tracy, he really made it into a productivity philosophy, and it does. It works. You think about it, that bigger frog, you just want to attack it. You have this, very important task. You got to do it first. So, hey, just knock that thing that's in your way out. Now, your frog is your most important, most challenging task of the day, the one you're most likely to procrastinate on. Here's why this works. Your willpower and your mental energy are at the peak in the morning. By noon, decision fatigue starts kicking in, so tackle the hardest thing while you're at your sharpest. Every morning, ask yourself, what is the one task that, if I completed it today, would make today a success? That is your frog. Eat it first. Now, they've got, I can't help myself. That one delays me every time I even think about it. So that'll just leave me to strategy number 5. We could loiter on Eat the Frog and keep laughing. It's going to get me delayed. But strategy number 5 is actually one I've talked about before. It's called the Pomodoro Technique. And basically, Pomodoro Technique is, if you're having problems focusing, it's going to give you focused intervals. It's going to allow you to really sit there, and when you're in that time block that we talked about before, and you're telling yourself from 9 to 9:30 or 9 to 9:25, I want to work on this task, it allows you to really focus on that, because once you get to a point and you're losing focus, you got to take a break. Well, that's Pomodoro Technique. So basically what it is, this guy, Francisco Cirillo, in the 80s, he would sit there and he would work on something, and he would have this tomato timer, like a kitchen timer. And it was tomato. Well, what's funny is, if you do know Italian, if you don't, I'm going to teach you something. Pomodoro is Italian for tomato. And it just so happened he used this tomato kitchen timer. Well, what he would do is he would set 25 minutes. He would focus on that task for 25 minutes, and when the buzzer went off, he would take a 5-minute break. And then he would continue to repeat those steps until that focus or that task was completed, and then he would take a longer break, he would move on. So, pretty simple method, and it's actually quite used by quite a few people, because it does allow you to clear your mind and only focus on one thing at a time. And, that's one of our biggest problems in today. We've got so many different things that go on before us, multitasking, things of that nature, that we lose focus very simply. And, the minute you lose focus, takes you a little bit to reset. So what are the steps? Kind of already gave them to you. Choose one task to focus on. Set timer for 25 minutes. Work with 0 distractions. And then you go on step 3. When the timer rings, take that 5-minute break. Well, step 4, after 4 Pomodoros, take a longer 15 to 30-minute break. It's that simple, but it's incredibly effective. Why does it work? Because our brains aren't built for hours of uninterrupted focus. Short, intense sprints with planned breaks keep your energy and concentration levels high all day long. So that's Pomodoro Technique. So strategy number 6, task batching. Now this one's a game changer for anyone that feels scatterbrained. Kind of goes along with what I was saying a little bit ago. We have so many different moving parts going on in a day that it can be very difficult to maintain focus. And you get these task batching, so you try to match everything up that's like. If it's similar or alike, you batch them. And then, you decide to put them in these groups, and they're similar tasks. You can knock them out in one block of time. Now, why does this matter? The American Psychological Association has found that switching between different types of tasks, what we will call context switching, can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. Now, what are some common things that you would batch? Well, pretty simple. Emails. Let's have a block of time in the morning, block of time in the afternoon, and put your emails there. Don't focus on anything else. Just focus on knocking those things out. You get them out of your mind, and you move on to whatever your next block of time is for. You do texts, do a phone calls. You can do it with maybe small tasks, even in your own time outside of work. If you're going to take the trash out, well, you go throughout the whole house, put all your trash together, and take it all out together. That's the same thing. You're not trying to do one thing and then going on another thing and then coming back to this one thing, like taking out the trash. It's just simple analogy, but it kind of combines. And I think most of us will find as we learn in life that we try to, if we've got to get up and we've got to go to the bathroom, we might fill our water, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, and then come back and go back to what we're doing. Simple, but it's very, very effective. So what's the last thing? It goes with strategy number 1. Strategy number 7 is a weekly review. Now, why is a weekly review important? Just like with the audit, to get your baseline, if we don't plan and base our performance on a plan, well, we can still perform effectively, but we'll be at the highest level we can perform at. No, we won't. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. That's a pretty simple way to remember something that I learned in the military, but it's extremely effective. I try not to do anything to waste time or energy. If I've got to waste time, I'm going to try to pack as much stuff into that time as possible. If I know I'm going to expend a lot of energy, I try to do as much in that given time as possible. So what's the weekly review? It is that final strategy. First, you got to reflect. What did I accomplish this week? What didn't get done and why? Step 2, you got to clear out everything. Empty your inboxes, notes, to-do lists. Get to 0 before the next week. Step 3, plan. Review your goals and schedule your top priorities for the week ahead. Step 4, reset, prepare your space so your next work day, maybe it's Monday morning, starts clean and focused. Now, I'll say this. You use these 7 proven strategies, you're going to increase your time management and you're going to increase your focus. You will be more successful and you will be better at what you do. And if you're a leader, you will definitely encourage your fellow employees or coworkers to increase in their capabilities. You will increase their focus. You will increase their time management, and that's critical. So let's go over them one more time. Time audit. Find out where your time actually goes. Time blocking, schedule priorities, not just your meetings. The 2-minute rule. Kill small tasks immediately. Number 4, eat the frog. Tackle your hardest task first. Number 5, the Pomodoro Technique. Work in focused 5-minute sprints. Number 6, task batching. group similar tasks to eliminate context switching. And lastly, number 7, weekly review. Step back weekly so you can move forward faster. Now, you don't have to implement these all at the same time. Try one and see if it works for you. And if it does, I would ask you to, comment how it works with you. If you get something out of this video, I'd ask you to like it. Up in one of these corners, I'm going to have some of my other videos. I would ask you to watch them and let me know what you think in the comment section. The description for all these techniques will be filled with information. And lastly, if you would subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell for future videos, I would truly appreciate it. And thank you for making it this far in the video, and I will see you on the next one.